Hi, folks. This is Dave Lentz. Just sitting here noticing one of my several diplomas on the wall, and I'm just 2 months shy of being a practicing lawyer for 42 years. And so I thought what I would do is to help all those folks out there that are trying to decide whether they want to go to law school, whether they want to become lawyers. I think this is a vital video. The information that I'm going to present in a series of several videos is vital to anybody making those decisions. In fact, I think it's not only vital for the people who want to go, but if they have a fiance or a husband or a wife, uh, they should also probably watch this video as well. And if the parents are going to be footing some of the bill for law school, they should probably want it as well. And because we're going to delve into so many different aspects of practicing law and the costs and expenses associated with practicing law and with the decision to go to law school to begin with. And so, without further ado, I'm going to start the video. Thanks for watching.
Okay, a little bit about me first. I'm just 2 months short of having been a member of the Bar of the Commonwealth of Virginia for 42 years. And in 42 years, my experience has sort of swerved back and forth, meandered from business transactions and real estate and estate planning to doing criminal work, family law work, personal injury work, real estate construction litigation, in other words, trial work. So I've been on both sides of the fence. I've worked for the Virginia Housing Development Authority, doing mortgage transactions, even some municipal bond work to raise the funds to make the mortgage loans. Actually held a Series 7 security license for a while. I've got a master's degree in business administration with a focus on finance. And so I tell people a lot of times that I've done everything except admiralty and patents. And in 42 years, that's pretty close to being true. Really, I'm serious. And so I have a wealth of knowledge, and I would like to convey what I know to you because I think a lot of folks want to go to law school and be lawyers, and they need to know some of the things that I can tell them. So one other thing, I have an affiliated website that I put together. It was designed being a former adjunct business instructor at a university. I taught finance and accounting and international business transactions. And so I decided to put this site together basically to start with to talk about global economics and markets and investing and interest rates and stuff like that. And as time went on, we get sometimes we sort of get drawn into certain things. And so the subject matters that we've dealt with has sort of dealt to a certain extent into more political matters. I wrote a book called Route Solution, which is about the widening income and wealth gap between the top wealthiest people and middle and lower socioeconomic income brackets in this book called Route Solution. You can check that out if you'd like. Anyway, that's a little bit about me, and so stay tuned. You're about to see a video, one of several in this series that discusses whether it's a good idea to become a lawyer, whether it's a good idea to go to law school or not. So thanks for watching, and here's the video. Okay, I guess the first thing that we ought to address in our discussion is how much does it cost to go to law school? And I'm going to try to make this short and sweet because you can stop the video. Let me just emphasize this. there are a lot of statistics about a lot of things floating out there. And what one soon finds, I think it's true generally in life and in anything having to do with business or politics, especially, is there's a lot of funny money, a lot of fluff and a lot of numbers. And so you always have to be a little bit wary of the numbers, but I'm going to try to be as straight down the middle on this as I possibly can. All I can say is that you really have to do your homework. Don't be a total cynic. I mean, that doesn't get you anywhere. But be a little bit skeptical of the numbers that you hear, and from there we'll take it. First of all, this is on the website of a major public law school from a public major state-run university. And this is the number right here. They say that after tuition of, it depends on whether you're in state or out of state, that basically you're looking at between 87 and 90, a little over $90,000. After you take into account tuition up here of 65 to 68,000, living expenses, book supplies, loan fees, and then average grad plus fees. And then, of course, they throw in here down something about health insurance. I'm not exactly sure how that figures in, but I guess it actually adds to these numbers right here. But I'm going to say basically somewhere between $87,000 to $90,000 for the public university. I find this, incidentally, this to be very fascinating, because the second example, this is a private school, same state, highly thought of, and their tuition says these are their numbers, are only $50,500, which is less. Typically, private schools are more expensive than public schools. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I'm just an old trooper over the hill gang kind of guy, but I find this to be very interesting. But on their website, they say after you take into account room, boards, books, supplies, all these things you got listed here, that their cost is a little over $70,000. So if you average 90,000 and 70,000, you right down the middle, we're going to say that it's basically $80,000 a year. This figure right here is a rough estimate of the cost, okay? And that includes your room and board and living expenses and all that kind of stuff. So if you do that for 3 years, it's $240,000 right here, right? So there you go. So $240,000, soup to nuts, to get you through law school over 3 years. Now, of course, during that time, when I was in law school, we were not supposed to work our first year. So this thing here is sort of funny too, but I'm going to assume that you can work all 3 years. And that during the school year, you can work 20 hours a week part-time, and that during the summer, you can work 40 hours per week. Basically, I say that your annual cash flow you could come up with income of $17,460. Now, let me tell you something. That's probably being really high expectations there on that. I don't think it's probably quite that much, but I'm going to assume for the sake of argument that you can make that. So if you do that for 3 years, you've made almost $53,000 in income. And if you subtract the $53,000 from the $240,000, you're left with debt of $187,620 after 3 years of law school. Okay? Now, so most people, well, let's see. And then, of course, I say there's a lot of funny money. Well, maybe that's not the right word, but it's a swirling sea of dollars and cents depending on what you do. And it all depends on how much in terms of scholarship money you can get and how much you can get in grants and all that kind of, and I call it financial aid. If you get none, you're either going to have to come up out of pocket with $187,000, or you're going to have a Sally Mae loan of 187,600, and that's because you're financing all of this figure right here. Okay, so, and if you can find 87,000 in financial aid and grants and scholarships, you will have only $100,000 Fannie Mae loan. And if you can finance, if you get in scholarships and financial aid $137,000, you're going to have a Sally Mae loan down here of $50,000 right here. Okay, let's take different loans rate scenarios. And this is all going to depend on what interest rates are at the time that you graduate or when you take out the loan. And they may change over a period of time. Every year, if you get a new loan every year, the rates may vary. But let's assume these interest rates of 3% over 5 years, 5% over 5 years, 7% over 10 years. This here is the term of repayment, to how many years you get to repay the loan. And as you can see here, when you go through this, depending on how much financial aid you get and what the interest rate and the term of the loan is, your monthly payment, every month that you're going to have to pay for the number of years that I have in this column right here, you're going to have to pay anywhere from back $450 a month up to $3,355 per month. Now, I don't know about you, but this is even for a 20-year loan, and I don't even know if 20 years is totally available. Who knows? When I was in school, back when there were dinosaurs, the maximum loan you could get was 5 years. Long, long time ago in a galaxy far away. But I saw on a website some reference to a 20-year. But anyway, that's beside the point. Anyway, you're looking at $450 a month up to $3,350. I don't know about you, but this is more than my car payment right here. And this, I haven't done the calculation, but that is basically the mortgage payment on a very expensive house. That might be $750,000 to $1 million. I don't know. Anyway, so that is what you're going to have to pay every month that other people that don't go to law school aren't going to have to pay. So you're behind by this much to begin with every month. You're saddled with that. Anyway, obviously these monthly payments go from $450 to $33.55, and naturally either somebody's going to have to give you financial aid, or you're going to have to get a scholarship where it's going to come out of your pocket or mom or dad's pocket to pay these amounts to get through law school. So it's obviously a very expensive endeavor. Now, let me just say this. Before I forget, this is 2021, and the federal government has just got done, and maybe it's still in the process of spending lots and lots of money on stimulus checks, big federal deficits, and my history is such that I remember when deficits get out of control, you eventually end up with a lot of inflation, and you know what this means? In other words, interest rates have a big potential of going up quite a bit. Now, if you go to reasonandbalance.com, let's see if I can find it here. Here it is. Here's how I'm on Reason. If you go to reasonandbalance.com, they have even though it's called a monthly mortgage payment calculator, it works for student loans too. Let me see. They've got a link here. Okay, so you go to the link, and lo and behold, it takes you to my website, and it has a, where is it? Real estate monthly mortgage payment calculator. And if you go on there, you can run through various not mortgage loans, student loan. Just put it in there and put the rate in there. For example, if interest rates, for example, went to, let's say 10%, and let's say that your student loan is, we'll say $60,000, and they're not going to give you 30 years. Let's just say, let's say 12 years. Okay, who knows what Sally Mae is going to come up with. Your month, well, let's keep it at 10. Let's keep it at 10 because that's what we've been doing. 10 years, $60,000. What's going to be the payment? You're going to have to pay $793 a month. So, like I said, you can go to reasonbalance.com, reasonandbalance.com. And it's a nice site with a lot of articles, as you can see down here. And there's your monthly mortgage payment. That'll work for all loans, actually. That's just try to make it tied to the people who are most likely to use it. You could use it for car loans or whatever, and you click there for the payment calculator. And it goes to my website. So, all right. So anyway, so there you have that. Now let's see here. Let's get back to where we were. Okay. So, but let's talk dollars and cents again. All right. Look, you're going to have to make extra money. If we assume that your student loan is $500 a month, so if we assume that your student loans is $500 a month, and you don't get paid every dollar of your salary, you get only a certain amount of take-home pay. Now, if you assume that after state and federal taxes and other deductions and withholdings on your paycheck, that you really only take home 70% of what your salary is, because you may fund, for example, a retirement plan or something like that, then this means if they take out 30%, this means that if you're going to cover that $500, that you have to make about $8,600 more a year than a bachelor's degree holder. Your friend that you went to college with who did not go to law school, you got to make at least $8,600 more a month to pay for your student loan. And you got to do that for the full term of your student loan. If it's for 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years, you got to make that every year in order to make it worthwhile. So if you're not making that much extra, and if your payment is $750 per month, you've got to cover that. You've got to make almost $13,000 more a year for 10 years or whatever. Now, this is a vitally important point because, let me see here. Oh, here we go. I want to make this point. You've got to analyze very, very, very carefully the published salaries of what lawyers make. And ask yourself, do the statistics take into account unemployed lawyers? Do they take into account underemployed lawyers? And I'm going to say, lawyers that may have jobs that are not legally related and not quite making what lawyers are making. And are lawyers that are responding to the polls, are they lying about what they make? There's really no way to know that. I question some of the statistics. I strongly suspect that a lot of their statistics focus too much on what big law firm lawyers make. They focus on, a lot of times, I think, on the cream of the crop and the top echelons. And I think a lot of the statistics are very skewed, but that's up to you to determine. Okay, but this all boils down to this. It's very important, because this is a vitally important point. These numbers up here, in terms what you're going to have to pay every month, these numbers, you're saddled with that because and you're saddled with that for the life of the loan. Federally guaranteed student debt is not dischargeable in bankruptcy. Not dischargeable in bankruptcy. Not dischargeable in bankruptcy. So that amounts to a lot of risk for somebody going to law school. And this applies to new lawyers. Existing lawyers face, it will contribute to many a sleepless night, angry relationships, perhaps divorces, strained relationship with co-workers and other lawyers, and lots of long working hours. More about that in one of the other videos. So anyway, that's sort of a rundown of the costs and the risks associated with making the decision to go to law school. So we will sort of leave that be for the time being and await another video to give you some more useful information. That's going to really do it for today's video. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I'm responsible for everything having to do with this video. If you want to make a contribution, we do have a donations page right here. You can click on it and it'll take you right down here and give you instructions on how to make a donation. Please click the like button. It would be very, very helpful. And we will continue on in our quest for reason and balance. And until the next time, this is David Lentz, and we'll see you later.